I love the music. Ooh, little flute action.
Up.
Yeah. Cha. There we go. Welcome to the NBA Live Before Lock show presented by Yahoo. I'm Eric Lindquist. I'm a nerd. I think that's kind of apparent. Another fellow nerd that we're going to be having on the stream. I'm at Eric Lindquist on Twitter. He's at Matthew LaMarca on Twitter. At Matt LaMarca, so I should tell him as such. But Matt LaMarca, how you doing, my dude?
Doing well. It's been a nice little Sunday here. You know, got to essentially take the day off from sports up until right now. So let's make the most of it, you know?
Yeah, I did the exact opposite because I did the Pro Bowl show. So I'm sweating Pro Bowl lineups where I have all the defenses and they are just smashing, which is great. Kyle Juszczyk, our 1% bomb, scored the touchdown there in the first quarter. That was lovely. Mark Andrews was my favorite play on the slate. He's got 2 touchdowns. He's absolutely smashing. I'm just nervous. So I'm going to be sweating that as we go. Oh, and did I mention PGA, played Showdown, have regular stuff going for that. I have NASCAR lineups and I'm going to have to double check while we're on this show. 58 minutes to go. What else did I do? Oh, I did NBA early slate. I have problems, but if you know, look at Jordan.
Any
Klein,
Senior Bowl lineups or
he's doing the Lee Trevino from Happy Gilmore. A little bit of that. So I'm proud of it. If you guys are proud of me, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. That is what we are here to do. Woo-hoo. Geeks rung shit. You are damn right, Loco. Good to see you in the chat. He's going to keep us apprised of news. And let's just start there because this game, you know, I'm going to be on track. I just had to be a weirdo for a minute there. We have 57 minutes. I'm going to be very professional because I'm playing a lot on this slate. Have NASCAR to look at as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that show with Chris and Jason right before us. Hopefully hit the like button for them as well. But big news. Caris LeVert. He is literally switching to the other team. Is he just going to get on the team bus and just stay there, you know, and not go anywhere for this game? Because pretty insane to think about it. They're in Cleveland. Maybe he just buys a house while he's there or something, you know, at least for 6 months. But Caris LeVert is no longer part of the Pacers. He is with the Cavs. We got word that Domantas Sabonis is ruled in. We have no Malcolm Brogdon. So that is some massive news. Oh, and Goga. He's in, but I don't really care so much about that. None of those guys are in play. What does this Indiana news do for you right off the get-go?
Yeah, Domantas Sabonis becomes a strong option in my opinion. You know, I guess there are some concerns that maybe he doesn't see a full workload in his first game back, but the guy has been absolutely smashing recently with no LeVert now joining Brogdon and Miles Turner out of the lineup. The guy should just be an absolute workhorse for the Pacers. So I really like him in this spot. Then you can get into some of the, you know, the wing plays we've been relying on for value recently. You can look at a guy like Kiefer Sykes, I guess. You can look at, you know, Chris Duarte for sure. You've got it's going to be a thin roster for the Pacers tonight for sure.
Yeah, it's very strange because, you know, Terry Taylor, I think we've got projected to play quite a few minutes, even in the absence. That's going to go away. That's got to go away. Domantas Sabonis playing 36 minutes or 35 minutes here. Dwayne Washington's been playing minutes. Jeremy Lamb's there. O'Shea Brissett's there. For me, it's really, I think, just Domantas Sabonis. And as weird as it sounds, I think I might want to take some shots on Lance Stevenson at 3,400. I don't feel good about it. I really don't. But I'm playing a lot of lineups and I'm going to have like 1 or 2 shares. Legitimately, I think it's just a write-off for the entire rest of the team. I'm seeing Duarte up to 12.7% at 5K. I mean, with Sabonis back in, and you switch him out, I mean, that is a far more crippling deal to the likes of Duarte, to the likes of everybody else on this roster than if it was LeVert playing instead. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. Because he does everything. He can score, rebound, assist. Again, I'll add in that Kiefer Sykes, I think, has some totally punt play appeal.
Yeah, he's definitely does 3,300, definitely.
Right. He's popping as the best pure value on the Pacers in our projections at the moment.
All right. Well, I just wanted to touch with that situation first because that's in this early window. We have 3 games locking at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We've got the New Orleans and Houston game. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then a late night hammer, Milwaukee and the Clippers. And I think there is some hammer value that we might be looking at with some of those guys. So let's get to it. We go position by position on this show. Smash that like button once again, subscribe button, notification bell. You know the drill if you've seen these shows, and trust me, you want to keep watching them because we can help you be profitable with the best tools and the best analysts in the industry, including Matt LaMarca over there. My third Matt that I've had the pleasure of working with today. Man, you guys are awesome. So let's get to it. Guard position. I think Kiefer Sykes is definitely going to launch up the portal a little bit. I expect him to be the guy who gets the start. So we'll put him in the popular category. But the first guy is Luka Doncic. He's $12,000. Trey Young is 10-1. Kind of interesting to be seeing Trey Young, who has been pretty good, 1,900 less. I mean, he has had 3 straight games of 50 plus. I think that just kind of speaks to what Luka Doncic has been doing. And he's been going absolutely batshit insane lately. 3 straight 70 burger pluses. How much Luka Doncic at 38% are you looking to get to on this slate?
Yeah, probably about that amount. It's hard not to like Luka. I mean, again, the Tim Hardaway absence, in addition to the Kristaps absence, has just taken his fantasy stock to another level. I mean, the usage rate the last couple of nights, it's been 39.5, 40.5. So the scoring has been up. We know he's capable of getting us production in the other categories, triple-double, in 2 of his last 3 games. So it's hard not to like him. I do think that there are some other players that are expensive tonight that you can pivot to. Like we already talked about Sabonis, there will be other guys. I don't know if I'm necessarily putting Trey Young in that category. I do like Trey. I think the price tag is fair, but he does not have nearly the same upside for me as Doncic does, right? Doncic can get us into the 70s. He's done it 3 games in a row. I think if Trey Young hits his ceiling, it's like mid to high 50s. So it's a little bit of a different ceiling in my opinion, and I'll pay the extra money, take the extra ownership on. You look like you disagree.
It's not that I disagree. It's that I'm getting 1/3 of the rostership going his direction. And Dallas, Tim Hardaway Jr. off the floor mattered a lot more for Luka Doncic than maybe I was factoring in earlier. Porzingis, in his absence, we've always talked about this on these shows. There isn't as much of a sizable bump, but now more usage. You have Luka Doncic playing just some elite basketball and shooting massive volume, 33 and 28 shot attempts the last 2 games. I mean, come on. That should speak to having Reggie Bullock out there instead of Tim Hardaway Jr. And Bullock has been shooting a lot in his own right, 16 and 14 shot attempts now, the last 2 as well. But I do expect not regression, because Luka Doncic is one of the best basketball players in the NBA. Nobody's going to be arguing that. One of the best offensive talents we've seen in a long time, distributing at a high clip, 5 straight games of 10 plus assists here as well. The nice thing that Luka does as well that Trey Young does not do is that he absolutely rebounds the basketball at a high clip too now, 3 double-digit games in his last 5. So I think Trey Young, that always kind of limits his ceiling, is that I don't really know what those rebounds can look like on a game-to-game basis. I just know that it's been a little bit on the lower side. He hasn't hit double-digit rebounds in a single game this entire season. So the triple-double upside is like basically non-existent there. But I'm basically saying, for me, you're giving me less than half the ownership going to Trey Young. He's 1,900 less. I want to be over the field on Trey Young, and I want to be about the field with Luka Doncic. I think what we're going to see too, we have some Atlanta news that still needs to break, and we better have that here in the next 50 minutes because we have a number of moving pieces there with John Collins. That's going to matter a lot for my lineups because Clint Capella would be a guy I would just auto click on as fast as I humanly possibly could. And Lou Williams, I don't know if that necessarily really matters, his questionable status there, but at least a little bit more upside for run, I guess, for Trey Young to play, closer to the 38, 40-minute mark here from time to time. So Trey Young, are you completely off of him?
Yeah, I think I'm completely off of him. Maybe that's a mistake. I just think the 10-1 is a little pricey.
Lou out. Okay. So yeah, Lou Williams out. That's cool. That happened 4 minutes ago. Awesome. John Collins available to play. Awesome. Danilo Gallinari remains a game time decision. So that came out 3 minutes ago. Awesome. Darius Garland ruled out literally instantly. So lots of things happening here as we were on our little rant there. So thank you, chat, for keeping it updated there. Calling in, guys. Thank you. I was looking at my lineups and I didn't look down at my iPad yet here, but that's always good to know because we're talking about the situation. Always nice when I can see the news there. Godwin, why would Goodwin be a lock? Goodwin is not a lock for me. I understand Goodwin is a fantastic play, but he's 5,400 on DraftKings. 5,400 is a lot different than the, 3K and 4,100 we paid for him the last 2 games. 5,400, I wouldn't even call him a great play. I think he's an okay play, like in the realm of playable now.
I guess
still
it
not
depends
sure
on the ownership. I think 54 is still too cheap for him. If you think he's going to get to, as long as Karis LeVert isn't walking into the other locker room and playing against the Pacers tonight, Brandon Goodwin's going to get another, 33, 34. He played 36 minutes in his last game. He's averaged 1.02 DraftKings points per minute over the past month. Like, I think his median projection for me is going to be around 30 points.
Okay.
And that's more than acceptable at 5,400.
Yeah, totally is. Absolutely. Played 36 minutes. Looking at Popcorn Machine, that last game is just wonky. Cedi Osman played 15 minutes there. That's not ideal. Kevin Love has been closing some of these games. That's also going to be an issue in terms of what we should be projecting going forward here. That Charlotte game was much, much closer than it should have been, but Kevin Love hit the 2 game-winning free throws. He's been closing some of these games. That's going to directly affect Cedi, but Goodwin, I'm expecting him to become a little bit more popular. We'll see what that happens. It came out pretty early. We have 48 minutes before lock, and I think people are going to get there, and I think he's a good play. I think that's the right way of saying it. We'll see what that ownership becomes because that'll really dictate what I want to do there at this spot. I'm playing primarily on DraftKings. Looking over at FanDuel, though, I want to give them the attention that they deserve as well as our sponsor, Yahoo. Goodwin is 4,800 over there. Substantially better play for me over on FanDuel.
Sure. I think he's a great play across the industry.
Okay, perfect. And then our sponsor, Yahoo, I think he was like $10 last couple of days. Let me build out that lineup here as we're going. All right, let's keep it moving then. That's a pretty good situation to talk about. I try to focus a little bit more on these earlier games since everybody will be able to adjust to some of the news that comes out a little bit later here, but let's kind of keep it moving here at guard. We've got some other guys. Jalen Green, 4,600, has been playing better, like actually competently of late, which is great. Because I hated this guy because he made me look like an idiot. I really liked him coming out of the G League, but not really translated so much. Cole Anthony, weird to see the Rising Stars Challenge. He gets picked 4th out of everybody that James Worthy had on the board. I don't really understand that, but Cole Anthony's there. He's pretty popular, 19.3%. I don't have a ton of interest. See if you're different there. Devontae Graham, who in this like 15 to 20% range of rostership over on DK are you getting to the most?
Well, the Houston situation is the most interesting to monitor right now because Kevin Porter Jr. is questionable. Eric Gordon is questionable.
Yes.
Right. Depending on what happens with those guys, that really is going to impact my how I feel about Jalen Green. Because even though Jalen Green has been playing a little bit better recently, he's shown a ceiling. I don't really necessarily want to play him if they're going to be at full strength. I just think there's too much of a range of outcomes for him to play as a somewhat chalky player. But if Porter Jr. and Gordon get ruled out, then Green kind of becomes a priority target for me. Just too many shot attempts for him in that situation to pass up in a good spot against the Pelicans. So I would definitely be getting to Jalen Green depending on what happens with the injury report there. Cole Anthony, I think, is fine at 7,100. I think that price tag is probably a smidge low in the long run, but I don't think he's necessarily like a must play or anything like that. You look at the Magic, they're always underdogs of at least like 10 points. They're 9.5 point home dogs today versus the Celtics. Like, you always have to take that into consideration with them. If he doesn't get to his usual 30 plus minutes, it could get ugly for him. So I'm never really interested in using him as like a chalk option. And then who else did we say? Oh, Devontae Graham.
Devontae, last guy.
Devontae Graham does very little for me. He's playing a ton of minutes right now, but he has very little production. He could benefit, I guess, if Josh Hart is out again, but Josh Hart missed their last game and it didn't really matter. So I think I'll pass on Devontae Graham at 5,300.
All right. Well, I'm going to be paying close attention to Houston. Obviously, that is a massive piece of news because I don't think Eric Gordon plays for what it's worth. I think they are looking at moving him. Now, it's always such a weird week that we run into with the Thursday trade deadline approaching, and you have to be very on high alert all the time because somebody could get traded like Karis LeVert instantly. And then, oh, well, he's not there. By the way, there's somebody asked in chat, there's no way that he's going to be able to play because he's got to do a physical. He's got to do all that stuff. So
I was joking.
Okay. Well, just double checking because somebody I think might have taken that seriously.
Apologies.
It's okay. It's okay. Matt, people may not be aware that you are just sarcastic literally 99.999999% of the time.
Look at me. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Stop. Don't quit playing.
No, don't you do this, Sean.
Don't you do this, Sean. If you guys don't appreciate that and smash the like button for that, I really don't know what to tell you. I don't think Jordan Klein knows what's going on. You don't know what that's from, do you? He has no idea. Oh my God, these kids these days. Goodwill Hunting, get out of here with this garbage. Jalen Green, I think would become my most rostered player, but we won't know that news. I'm hoping that it comes out after lock. I'm just going to play a ton of Jalen Green either way. Kevin Porter Jr., if he's out, huge boost. Eric Gordon, I don't assume is going to be playing because they want to move him. If he does, he's 4K, and I should be able to find some ways onto some shares of Eric Gordon at 4K. It could be his last game that he's playing in Houston tonight. More than likely is. I think they're on the road the entire week. So if Eric Gordon gets moved like I expect him to be, you're looking at an opportunity for him to just go out and maybe chuck tonight. So Josh Christopher, keep on high alert. If both of them are out, he becomes in the conversation too at 4,300. Just want to throw that name in there because he really likes to shoot the basketball, and 41.75 DraftKings points last time out in 29 minutes. That's useful.
Useful,
Milady. Rest of the guard spot. Anybody else that's really popping up for you? I think the Clippers are pretty much an entire write-off as a basketball team for me. Somebody might pop, but I find it very unlikely. Reggie Jackson is going to obviously be getting tons of usage to the likes of Norman Powell and Robert Covington. Neither are on the injury report. I'm assuming that means they're playing. So I don't really see how I get to anybody here whatsoever on the Clippers. Do you have any desire to roster a single Clipper tonight?
Maybe a little bit of Norm. Again, I think Norm Powell, and maybe I'm just basing this more off of his stint in Toronto, but I think he's okay. Like, I think he can score the ball. So if he's going to be in sort of like a featured role for the Clippers, I would have some interest in him. We have him with a pretty significantly positive leverage rating in our boom bust tool right now. I mean, again, he's commanding 0.1% ownership, but he has an 8% optimal lineup rate. I might take a stab with him in just like a handful of lineups, maybe like a 5% type play. But yeah, that's really the only Clipper that's popping for me.
All right, let's get back to this. So Danilo Gallinari available to play Sunday. So maybe a little less of a boost for everybody there. But yes, John Collins also available to play. Lou Williams, the guy who is ruled out there. Once again, we're trying to keep apprised of all the news here as it's going. Garland, of course, is out. But let's go back and talk Indiana because our friend up here, I'm Real Forever, $2 super chat. Who takes LeVert's minutes? I think it's not just one-for-one swap to Kiefer Sykes, who's now garnering 22.3% rostership. Probably appropriate, 3,300. I think I'm okay with that kind of a number, but I think it also might go a little bit just because of how well he played to Terry Taylor, who's completely unplayable. Chris Duarte might get a minute or two extra there. Justin Holiday. It kind of gets sprinkled to a lot of these cats. They have Jeremy Lamb, who generally can garner a lot more attention in these spots, but now O'Shea Brissett's back. Lance Stevenson's back, and Eric Gordon gets ruled out as we're talking about this. What a lovely time to be on the guard position. But round this out for me. Who gets most of the minutes here in the absence of Karis LeVert?
Yeah, I think Sykes is the guy you want the most. He's basically been out of the rotation for the Pacers, but I think he becomes pretty appealing now. And as you alluded to, the ownership on him is catching up. Other than that, I don't know if anybody sees enough for it to really matter. right? Dwayne Washington maybe sees a couple minutes. He's been pretty good recently. So he would be I guess, an interesting pivot off of Sykes if you wanted to go that route. But like Duarte, Holiday, Stevenson, Torrey Craig, these guys all might see just an extra minute or an extra minute or two. And I don't know if it's enough to matter for any of them.
Everybody wants to play Terry Taylor. I don't play Terry Taylor. He's 5,500. Domantas Sabonis is back. You don't need to play Terry Taylor. We're on the same page there, right, Matt LaMarca?
Yeah, I mean, my question is, and this is like, is he a big man? Is he a wing? Like, I understand he's been operating as sort of like their center. So why would Karis LeVert being out help him?
Right. And I will say Reggie Perry inactive. I don't know if that really doesn't do anything. I just, Domantas Sabonis is going to play 34, 36. We have him for 33.5 minutes here. Perfect. Like, you're going to play Domantas Sabonis. He was out. It was COVID. It was for health and safety protocols. He's been out since the 29th. So just over a week here. I think he goes back to close to his usual role. Last time we saw Sabonis return, legitimately 71 and a half after being out for 9 games, played 44 minutes there. So I really don't have any kind of an issue that Sabonis isn't going to just step back to his normal stuff. But yes, Terry Taylor, why are we shouting? That's a great question. Duarte, people want to play Duarte as well. All these guys, I think, are going to be a little bit overowned. I just don't find them to be that great of values. Kiefer Sykes, 3,300, totally understand if he's in the starting lineup. If it's Dwayne Washington, yes, you just play a little bit of Dwayne Washington too, but not somebody that I'm looking to prioritize in the absence of LeVert here right out of the get-go.
Yeah, and I think, again, like it's definitely, when you see a team that's shorthanded, it kind of becomes like you rush to play them. But this is a team that's implied for 104 points. They're playing a tough defensive team in the Cavaliers. And it's really, we just removed one guy from the rotation. It's not like the Pacers are down to the absolute minimum here, and we should be looking to play 3-4 members of the team. We're removing one piece from the rotation from what we have seen over recent weeks. And we are adding in Domantas Sabonis. So to me, I'm with you. I think the Pacers are not like this prime source of value tonight.
Yeah, and people are talking Terry Taylor. He's 6'4", 6'5". I don't care. He was playing center, and now he's got him there. And then, not to mention, another guy that's just unplayable for me, but Goga Batadze is there. He's going to be playing backup center. I've got him for 13 minutes, and that's basically just going to be backing up Sabonis. O'Shea Brissett also back. Only played 10 minutes last game, but somebody that can pick up some extra minutes here and there as well. I think they're all priorities over Terry Taylor, as well as he might have been from a fantasy aspect for us. No two slates are the same. That's from Rinpack. Yes, Ryan Nelson, $1.99 super chat just to drop some knowledge. All right, guys, we got the Cavs starting lineup. Goodwin, Okoro, Wade, Mobley, Allen on Sunday. So Goodwin officially starting. I think we already kind of have our thoughts clear on that one. I know Matt LaMarca loves him across the board. I think he's decent on DraftKings FanDuel. He definitely is a sub 5K a smash. So play a lot of him over there if you're playing over there today. But play at our sponsor, Yahoo, for sure. We'll talk about them a little bit later here in the program. But with 36 minutes left to go, I will get to this Eric Gordon getting ruled out here in a second. But Daytona is around the corner. There is a NASCAR event that's locking at 35 minutes. You want to be checking out all of the videos, all the great content we have for that. But right now, $70 for a full year of Awesemo Plus NASCAR right now. That's $2. That's less than $2 per race. Pass gives you our individual driver projections, ownership projections, top drivers tool, which is awesome. That's literally all I use because I know nothing about NASCAR, but gives you an edge in this NASCAR DFS. Use promo code GREENFLAG, all caps, one word. And I know you guys love caps lock because chat loves it today. So use caps lock and put in green flag at checkout. This offer is valid through February 20th. So stop guessing, start winning, and join us here with the Awesemo Plus NASCAR package. All right, my friend, Eric Gordon is ruled out. What does that do for your lineups?
It's a little bit of a bump to Jalen Green and Kevin Porter if he plays, but not tremendous, right? I mean, Eric Gordon, he hasn't been a huge usage guy for them recently. He's been at 18% or less in the last 5 games, even longer than that. he's not the same player that we have seen from Eric Gordon in the past. So I don't know if there's a ton that opens up, maybe a few extra minutes for a guy like, Josh Christopher, who you said earlier, maybe like a Garrison Matthews gets into the rotation. I don't know, but I don't think it's enough that I'm drastically retooling what I think about Houston.
Okay. I'm definitely giving a massive bump to some of these guys. I'm probably being a little bit more explorative, might be the right word for it. I'm exploring the option of rostering a ton of Jalen Green, getting to some Josh Christopher. I think that both of them kind of become clear-cut guys I want to get to. And Kevin Porter Jr., 5,700, probably hard for me to get up to him in the event that he plays. I just would be surprised if he played. I mean, I guess it was an illness. What are they humanly possibly going to put him out there for? It feels a little bit wonky to me that they would give him minutes today, or that they would just choose to play him here. So play Jalen Green. If you wanted to get really super weird, and I don't recommend this, this is like the when Ben Rossa tweets out these golf picks and it's player that I'm playing that you shouldn't. Armani Brooks would be that guy. I don't recommend. It's not somebody that I would want to get to. So Josh Christopher and Jalen Green, those are going to be my guys, I think, that get the major bumps here. And of course, Christian Wood. We'll jump to the forward spot here now. Matt LaMarca, and I think we got to just start with Dorian Finney-Smith, Chris Duarte, number of these guys that are
as you always do.
As you always do. DFS, it's in the name. So Dorian Finney-Smith playing massive minutes in the absence of Kristaps Porzingis. He absolutely sucks at fantasy basketball, though. 0.7 fantasy points per minute. It's been really, really bad here of late. Part of that is Luka Doncic just on absolute fire. Hasn't put over 22 fantasy points together in his last 6, but he's literally played 39, 43, and 39 minutes his last 3. Even at 0.7 fantasy points per minute, if he could just be at that rate, he looks and grades out as a fantastic value. 4,500, over or under the 30% number you're looking at on DraftKings?
Slightly under. I mean, again, I never want to be overweight on a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith because I don't think that ends well for you most nights, right? He doesn't have enough ceiling to get us more than, mid 20s, high 20s. I think it's very unlikely that he gets into the 30s tonight is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be overweight on a guy that's popular to begin with. If anything, I think the move is you go underweight. I'm playing him just because, again, like you mentioned, the minutes are just so ridiculous. I do think he's a pretty good bet to pay off his salary. I just don't think he has enough tournament upside to be a guy that you want to like plant your flag with.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. It's probably one of the more uncomfortable chalk plays, period. Whenever I see guys like this that are getting around 29, 30% rostership that have such market floors, it's like immediately saying, go to the floor and play those guys. Now, I think with the emergence of Goodwin, with the emergence of, Jalen Green should take a little bit of a bump in the absence of this. Kiefer Sykes is another great piece of value. I think that there's a path to getting away from it, but maybe the field does as well. We've got 31 minutes here to go. Obviously, this game locks right at that 6 p.m. Eastern time spot. So maybe that ownership doesn't come down enough to make it viable to get to be undercutting it as much as I was planning to. But God, if he does perform just at that 0.7 fantasy point per minute rate, 40 minutes of that is more than serviceable, more than viable. It's just hard for me to click that name based off of how badly he's burned people. But this is kind of the low point where we kind of buy in a little bit more. He's been kind of fluctuating in this number. I think he's just fine, but there might be better value here just because of what I'm getting to with Green here. But rest of the forward spot, Chris Duarte garnering a lot of attention, not grading out that well here with Awesemo. So I just want to make that very clear with everybody. Around 26% ownership that we have on him right now. We don't have free tools, but I'm happy to be giving you guys some ownership. I love my Ducks, quack, quack, because I married into a Duck family, quack, quack again. But Chris Duarte is really hard to click on at this popularity based off of what we're projecting him for. I think there's a lot of way these minutes go. He is a rookie, though. He's probably got the most secure minutes. How do you feel about Chris Duarte on this slate?
Yeah, I'll pass on Duarte as a chalk play. One guy we kind of shortchanged for the Rockets, who's only $100 cheaper, Jayshawn Tate. At 4,900.
That's your boy, though. We were getting there. We were going to get there at forward. We were at the guard spot. Stop it.
I'd rather play Jayshawn Tate at 4,900 than Duarte at 5K.
Yeah, that's probably true. I would too. Brandon Ingram, I'm going to roster a lot of 8,700. We should have some money to be spending. That is my boy. He is absolutely my boy. Happy to claim somebody who's good at fantasy basketball as my boy. 8,700, 1.16 fantasy points per minute on the season. I'm very happy to be clicking on him a lot. Plus, shooting guard, small forward, best eligibility you can have. You can play him in 5 different roster spots throughout DK. That's useful. Reggie Bullock. Useful. So here we go. Let's have this conversation. So Dorian Finney-Smith is 4,500 and getting 30% rostership. Reggie Bullock is $300 more, but I don't know if that $300 really matters here. I think I can still get to my shares that I want of Giannis, shares that I can get to of some of the other higher upside guys on this slate, Brandon Ingram being one of them. I think Reggie Bullock is a pretty high upside median, like a medium range value play here at 4,800. I prefer him to Chris Duarte at half the ownership. Are you with me?
Yeah, I can get behind that. Bullock has been playing well recently.
Starting again. We just got that starting lineup as we're talking about it. Doncic, Brunson, Bullock, Finney-Smith, Powell, second straight start here for the former Knick.
Beautiful. 0.83 DraftKings points per minute over the past month. He was a 40% plus 3-point shooter last year. For some reason, he just was kind of buried on the Mavericks bench to start the year. And he's the type of guy that needs to be like involved to score. Like he's not going to score fantasy points himself, right? He needs to be set up. So I think now that he's in the rotation, for sure. Yeah, I like that call. I think he's got more upside than DFS. He's playing similar minutes and he's been significantly better on a per minute basis recently.
All right. We've just got news. Josh Hart, still a game time decision. God, is that uncomfortable? I don't know how much I can play of him. It just depends on your risk tolerance. 6,600, you really end up in a spot where if he doesn't play, you don't have a great amount of options. I mean, Jayshawn Tate, you're leaving almost like 1,800 or something on the table to go down there. If you roster him on DraftKings, if you're looking at like the Milwaukee or Clippers swap, you're going to need multi-positions. Marcus Morris is 6,400, I suppose. That might be the easy swap where if there was one guy that like maybe could still flash some major upside, played 36 minutes last time out. The problem is that Powell and Covington are going to affect his position specifically. So it's like very hard for me to know what that's going to look like. So if you play some Josh Hart and you end up getting him ruled in, I think he's a phenomenal play. One of the better rebounding threes that you're going to find in the NBA. I think he's basically a guard, but you know, I've talked about him a lot, just having one of the better rebound rates. It was comparable to what Steven Adams had in his time with New Orleans. And that's ridiculous to have center like rebounding upside from Josh Hart, 0.95 fantasy points per minute. Do you have any plans to get to Josh Hart on this slate?
I mean, you know that Josh Hart is my boy. I was playing Josh Hart before it was cool. Just want that out there.
It's important that the people know that you are a Josh Hart stan and you will not stand for any gross negligence saying that you weren't. It's good.
The matchup is so good against Houston. You know, Houston is just a fantasy gold mine. They're first in pace. They're last in defensive efficiency. So Hart's salary has come down. He's a guy that peaked up closer to like 7,400. So getting him in the mid sixes, I think is a great price tag for him. I do worry, like, what's the incentive to get him out there tonight? They really don't have very much. New Orleans isn't really playing for anything. So I think I'm probably with you where I'm going to have more Brandon Ingram than I normally would and just kind of prepare as though Josh Hart is going to be out. And then if he's in, I can maybe chop some of that Ingram ownership down and work in some Josh Hart shares that way.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Unick, so she's asking, so Powell and Covington are confirmed in all caps. Once again, more cap stuff. That's garnering my attention. Maybe I should stop allowing to just answer those immediately. But Ms. Unick's good people. Norman Powell, Robert Covington are not on the injury report. That assumes to me that they are playing because they would at least say that they were out because they were still going through physical or anything else. There are pictures of Norman Powell on the runway landing in LA a while back. So I know he's in the city. That's good to know. I would say Norman Powell, more of the asset. I think, than Robert Covington. But Robert Covington should still play some minutes here in this spot. I don't know how many. You are literally just pulling straws to try to figure out what this rotation looks like. So if you want to take shots on somebody, best of luck. Maybe they don't play, but as it stands right now, not on injury report to me says that they're going to play. What about you, Matt LaMarca? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they're going to play too, and it's just going to be a cluster, right? Who can you pick out and feel confident about? Again, I said I'll have some Norm shares just because I like Norm. I will fully admit that 7K is not like the greatest price tag for him, but I don't hate Norm. And after that, I don't know what else to do, right? Marcus Morris has been good this year when he's gotten the minutes. Just like in his last game, he had 45 DraftKings points in 36 minutes, but his price is now $700 more expensive than it was in that game. And who knows what his role is going to look like. You would think his role should be pretty secure, but he and Robert Covington are kind of very similar in types of the role that they fill for a team. So yeah. It's just like a giant shrug emoji. Well, they're going to have to let the chips fall where they may and then kind of reassess, I think.
All right. You ready for the uncomfortable portion of the program? Because I think we got some cheap guards that we like. I don't know how many cheap forwards we have down here that I really want to be getting to, but it gets a little bit interesting is probably the right way of saying it here on the bottom end. I don't really see KJ Martin being a guy I want to play. Josh Green, definitely no. But the guy that got brought up in chat, who's around 15%, is Marquise Chris. Now, Dwight Powell re-entered this rotation and re-entered the starting unit is the right way of saying it. The last 3 games, he's played 22, 13, and then out of the middle of nowhere, played 34 against Joel Embiid. There's another big center in Clint Capella on the other side here. I don't know if it's going to be Collins at the 5 here for some time and Kongwu, you're looking at a spot where Dwight Powell might get off the floor. Marquise Chris could see some more than the 16 and a half minutes we're projecting him for. But even so, I think it's a big leap of faith, but he is 3,300 on DraftKings. I think there's a case to be made about it both ways. What side are you landing on?
Yes, I'm a fan of Marquise Chris. On a fantasy perspective, right? The guy is very good at racking up fantasy points when he's on the floor. I think his game from his last outing was deceptive. Tough matchup against Joel Embiid, and he picked up 5 fouls in less than 11 minutes. So I expect him to get back to that 16-minute range that we had seen from him. And I feel good that Marquise Chris can pay off his salary in 16 minutes. Normally, when you play a guy like Marquise Chris, you want it to be at low ownership. Mm-hmm. And the ownership here, I think, is high enough that it's kind of making me want to not play him tonight, or maybe be like in line with the field. There's legitimate bust potential with him. And while there's tangible upside, I think the most likely scenario is him getting somewhere around 20 DraftKings points. And you'll take that at 3,300. But it's not something where I want to be playing a ton of him in my lineups.
All right, we got 2 really high upside options here at the forward spot over on DraftKings. Well, 3 of them now because Domantas Sabonis is my highest own amongst these 3. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Domantas Sabonis. Those 3 guys specifically. I already said I like Brandon Ingram. Jaylen Brown, I get it, but he's not really that popular, 13.1%. But what are you doing? Rank these 3 for me on DraftKings. Giannis, Tatum, Sabonis.
Sabonis 1, Giannis 2. I love Giannis. He certainly could be 1. I just think that the difference in price is enough that I will give a slight edge to Sabonis, but Giannis is just insanely good, right? He had 52.75 in less than 25 minutes in his last game. There's no denying that he is just an outstanding basketball player. So he's checking in with just 14% projected ownership right now. I'm always going to be overweight on a 14% projected ownership. Giannis. Tatum for me is the clear number 3 here. And he's somebody that I do not have in my lineups at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, Tatum I have a little bit of, but definitely same exact rank as you. 1 Sabonis, 2 Giannis. Just a huge gap between the 2 of them. And now no LeVert out there. I mean, it is going to be Sabonis show. Yes, Jackson Hayes is a guy that I really like as well. And again, this is where it really speaks to the uncomfortable nature of what we can kind of plan on. I don't think Herbert Jones starts if Josh Hart is back. I think it becomes Herbert Jones at the 4 and then Jay Val at the 5 per usual here. But Jackson Hayes has been awesome from a fantasy basketball and real life perspective here in his 3 starts now, 31, 26, and 33. I'm willing to be taking some shots at 5K. I think I can turn that into Jayshawn Tate. So that is one guy that I am massively over on 12.5%. Now, that being said, if you get Josh Hart in, I might have 0% Jackson Hayes. So everybody there playing the Eric Lindquist Nas Reed game at home, trying to make sure that I'm staying accountable. That is the game plan here. Do you have any kind of a Jackson Hayes plan in place as well?
No.
Nope.
I'll be honest. I saw 5K on Jackson Hayes and was pretty immediately turned off. But
get that.
But the Rockets are that just a fantastic matchup, and he's been super good. So perhaps I should reconsider that. Do you think he gets to 30 minutes again if Josh Hart sits?
Yes. Yeah.
And if that's the case, then 5K is totally fine for him.
I mean, look at this rotation. I mean, it's just like
it's pretty gross.
Garrett Temple is gone bye-bye. And again, it's weird that I get associated with Garrett Temple because like he's somebody I like to play when there's no value and he's 3,200. Like he's been on a lot of slates when he started in these spots, but they got Oni now. I don't think he's actually going to get any looks there. I don't know why they would give him a 10-day and just depth, just plug and play depth, I suppose. But Garrett Temple's kind of out on the wayside there. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been playing his 19, 20 minutes here. They really haven't been pushing him of late. They really don't want to. And it just seems like Jackson Hayes, I don't know if it's showcasing him. I don't know what it is, but coming out of Texas, he was definitely somebody that I thought would be a pretty darn good NBA player that could maybe the shooting has just never really come to fruition. Like he's just not a serviceable outside shooter. And that's a problem when you're going to be a little undersized for a 5, but a little bit bigger for the 4. Doesn't really play defense as well as I was hoping at the NBA level, but still serviceable as a pro. That's kind of it. Nobody cares about that take. They should care about this Pacers starting lineup, though. Sykes Scoop, he's starting Chris Duarte, Holiday, Craig, Sabonis, Sunday. What do you think about Sykes now that he is confirmed the starter for the Pacers?
Yeah, feel pretty good that he is going to be one of the better value plays on the slate. I mean, he's definitely going to be chalky now, but it's a slate that doesn't have a ton of value on the surface. So getting a guy at 3,300 opens up a lot of stuff.
Anything else for you from the forward position before we get to center? Gives us some time to get our own lineups in, be able to take a couple of questions as we kind of round out the entire time. But yes, Temple out. I'm just laughing about the fact that he doesn't exist and that like legitimately we should have Jackson Hayes interest if there's no Josh Hart.
Wendell Carter Jr. I think is an interesting guy tonight. He's been priced up to 6,900, but that's still definitely too cheap for him. 1.18 DraftKings points per minute over the past month. He's been playing really good. Only had 23 and a half minutes in his last game, but he had played more like 33 in the previous 3 and easily returned value. So he's going to be popular, but he's somebody that I definitely have in my player pool tonight. On the other side, I'm trying to determine what I want to do with Al Horford.
Oh God.
Right? Like 5,200 is cheap for Al Horford. And he played 31, 32 minutes in 2 of his last 3 games. So I'm debating towards maybe trying to buy low on him. That's about it, though. I think that's a pretty good overview of the forward position.
Again, 5 games. We're flying through these live before locks where we have the Sundays. We have 1 hour to kind of get through it for you. We can't go position by position. We don't have 2 hours of content where I know you guys have tuned into a deeper dive when we come into this. So I'm trying to keep it clean, concise. If there's tournament plays that really stick out to us, if there's 2v2s, Dean Wade or Lance, like legitimately, that's the kind of stuff where it's just like, I don't even know what to tell you at a certain point. Cause like Dean Wade is not remotely on my radar. Stevenson, I said I might have like 1 or 2 in my 150, but regardless, where you need to be playing at right now is Yahoo. Right now, 120 spots left in the $15 Sunday Baller, 5K to first. Something tells me prize pools might be getting larger and larger as they come out of NFL season, and it is NBA only here for the month of February after the Super Bowl next week. But hey, Super Bowl, jump in that at Yahoo as well, because if you are a new member over there, you simply join. You just join, set up an account, $10 or more, deposit into your account, play in any paid contest, and boom, tough actin' Tinactin. You get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. I just like making Matt LaMarca laugh, but you get that 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, every single sport behind the paywall, not just NBA, not just NFL for the Super Bowl, but NHL. That'll be back in full swing here this week. We've got PGA, MMA, esports, everything you could possibly want. We have content. We have projections for all of it. Get it here at Awesemo with this deal at Yahoo. Check it out. Simple as that. Let's jump over to the center position. But first, I will ask this one because I've seen it asked a couple of times. Doncic or Giannis on FanDuel, they are 11-6 and 11-4 respectively. I think that because of how popular Luka is at the guard spot, now some of the better value, the likes of Jalen Green, Sykes, is at the guard position. Give me Giannis at a fraction of the ownership for $200 less.
Agreed. I also think Trey Young is like a much more reasonable option on FanDuel where he's 9K. So I don't necessarily feel the need to go to Doncic on that site.
All righty. Oh my God. Şengün is just shooting through the roof for me. I don't want to start with him because I don't want to tell you about my 65% exposure. I have to that idiot who just never, ever does anything for me. Let's talk Dwight Powell right off the bat because he's popular down there at 3,700. As I said before, he played 34 minutes. Now, there's no Embiid, but it's still a matchup against Atlanta where you have Collins, you have specifically Clint Capella in his mid-20s, low 20s minutes that he's been playing here. How do you feel about a 3,700 Dwight Powell, assuming that he's going to start? And I see no reason that he wouldn't.
Pass. I pass at Dwight Powell on 26% ownership. All those minutes he had, the dude still only had 26 DraftKings points in his last game. I think that he clearly benefited from Marquise Chris getting into foul trouble. So we can take a few minutes away from him there. He's just not a guy that I think you ever really want to lean on as a chalk option.
All right. People are asking any Garrison Matthews love. Love is probably not the right word. I'm playing 25% of this fool, 26% of this guy. So that's the right word, is that I have him. I don't love him. What do you think about Garrison Matthews, 3,700, where you could have no KPGA as well?
Yeah, he's definitely been playing more than I would have expected recently for the Rockets. And he has displayed a bit of a ceiling. So I don't hate that call. 25% seems maybe a smidge aggressive to me, but 3,700, it's hard to hate that price tag.
Yeah, as opposed to Dwight Powell, 3,700. Well, we do not like that. I'm a little bit under, but I think it's just fine. You can find your value in different places. I'm just kind of playing a little bit more aggressively towards some of this Houston value that right now is not popping, but would definitely pop if there's no Kevin Porter Jr. there. So I wanted to at least talk about that because it's somebody that is coming into my lineups here. Let's keep going here with the center position, though. You can play Giannis, you can play Sabonis, you can play those guys specifically here, but the other guy who's garnering a lot of attention, and this would be, maybe Josh Hart focused a little bit simply because Josh Hart rebounds the ball at a high enough clip that I think it would affect Jonas Valanciunas. Now, his minutes have been low 30s here of late, but I think we got to look at his overall sample size. He's overall 1.25 fantasy point per minute player on DraftKings for the season. 8,300 is still a serviceable tag. It's a little bit cheaper than the 8,500 we've seen. Not as good as some of the upper sevens. I think that would be really where I was in bulk on him, but I'm a little bit above the field. How do you feel about Jonas Valanciunas today?
Same for me. I'm a little bit above the field. The Josh Hart thing, it matters, but it also doesn't really matter to me. Yes, maybe he does see a few additional rebounding opportunities as Jordan Klein sneezes with a vigor reserved for a younger man. Jonas Valanciunas is just
what the
really,
hell does that even mean?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I went into it, Eric, I started and I just had to commit to the bit. So
it was a good bit. Keep going.
Low 30s minutes is more than enough for Valanciunas, regardless of whether Josh Hart is in or out in this matchup. He's just a very good per minute player at the position. I actually have a lot of lineups tonight that feature either Valanciunas, Giannis, or Sabonis at center. And I normally would never play Giannis at center or Sabonis at center, but center kind of feels like a weaker position than usual today. So I think that strategy is a little bit more viable than it usually is. For some of you guys who aren't paying attention, it might be a weak position, but there is a guy named Alperen Şengün. I don't think people are paying attention to this. Now,
It's been some wonky games here. They lost by 25 and he played 29 minutes. I don't expect 29 minutes for Şengün. I expect somewhere in the low 20s. 21, 22 sounds about appropriate. But he is smashed. Now, this guy, we've seen that random start little spot that he had. He had a couple like spot starts. He put a 40 in that first one against the Spurs in a blowout season there. Then he kind of failed some people, and he really has been out of, a lot of favor. He's been like mid-teens. But I just always go back to what Rinpack said from Summer League, and this dude is a stud and could be, in the right circumstance, one of the most elite fantasy point producers, point per minute producers in the entire league, if in the right situation. Now, behind Christian Wood, that ain't exactly the best situation, because you're looking at a guy who was in foul trouble against Cleveland. Maybe that's why I got to some of those upper 20s minutes there, but then played 29 in some of these blowouts. And the Pelicans, looking at Houston, they're only 6-point favorites here. So I'm not even saying that, but Şengün, he's 4,100. I feel like taking a massive overweight approach to this guy in the event that they just decide to see what they have here with him. Again, Christian Wood's under contract. They don't really need to be pushing him. I think every player needs to be on the table for Houston to make moves and figure out what they want to do. Christian Wood should be there, and that's not really the concern, but I don't know if he's going to be playing those upper 30s minutes going forward here. How do you feel about Şengün on this slate? Are you as bullish as I am?
Nope.
Good talk.
I definitely think that he has some appeal at 4,100. I'm not trying to talk you out of playing him, but I do not think that this is a spot where I'm going to be jamming Şengün into my lineups. We have him as a pretty nice leverage play, right? He's popping in the optimal around 17% of the time at 11% ownership. That's good. But I don't know if I necessarily want to have like 50% of this dude on the off chance that he does return to sub 20 minutes.
All right. Well, cool. Glad we came to frickin' agreement on that one. I'm reserving some Kevin Porter Jr. I just want everybody to know that ahead of time. I'm just going to build him into some of these lineups just in case. We're 7 minutes away. Start getting those in here, but I don't know how much Brandon Goodwin. I'm just not going to play Brandon Goodwin at 30.5%. I'm going to play 10% of him, and that is going to be it. I'm much more inclined to play Sykes for cheaper. Go ahead. What were you going to say about Brandon Goodwin?
I said GG's.
GG's.
Yeah, good game. Thanks for playing.
Wow. I don't know. My 10% could be. Well, I didn't pick up on that. Jordan Klein, I'm 34. You children. Whatever. You're not allowed to see my dog anymore. There you go. There's that. He loved my dog. It's so true. 30, near 30-point projection for Goodwin. That's fine. I'm just not going to play. I'll play 15% for you. Does that make you feel better? I could win with those 15% of lineups.
Sure. Yeah.
God, you're so tilting. Just absolute tilt fest. I'm playing so much Houston. This is really going to go so poorly. There aren't words for it. Anything else for you from the center position that you have a burning desire to share before we start taking some questions and really go over these 3 games that are about to lock in 6 minutes?
Yeah, don't fall for the Clint Capella trap.
Don't.
You want to play him. You look
You
and you say 5,700 and it's like, oh, he can get there in like 25 minutes, but he hasn't. And I don't think he will. So this price tag still has room to come down, I think, before we could start playing Capella again.
Yeah, like free. He could be free 99. That'd be fun. It's so tilting too, because he's such a good. I mean, he was putting up like 2020 games last year. He was just Barbara Waltersing it all over the place.
Elite reference.
You're welcome. I felt pretty good about that one, actually. Did Jordan Klein get that one? Does he understand? Okay, good. I don't know anymore. I don't know what to believe with you. Just, God, whatever. All right, let's do this. 5 minutes to go. Get your lineups in, everybody. Also, smash that like button. We have 2,000 of you hanging out with us, talking a little NBA hoops. We got 3 games locking here. Give me your favorite 3 plays from the Pacers.
My favorite 3 plays from the Pacers. Number 1, clear number 1, Sabonis.
Same.
Number 2, Kiefer Sykes. And number 3, Dwayne Washington.
Favorite play from Cleveland, not named Brandon Goodwin.
Brandon Goodwin.
It's not how you play this game. Favorite play from Boston.
Sorry, not named Brandon Goodwin. I guess Kevin Love at 7,200.
There you go. That's my guy. I like Kevin Love, 7,200. He's been closing basketball games. He now has power forward eligibility again. I believe he lost it for a hot second on DK, if I'm remembering correctly, but he's put up over 40 plus now. He's closing basketball games. Upper 20s minutes is a lot different than lower 20s minutes, Kevin Love. So 7,200, just fine getting to that. I believe I have 26%. I'm very happy with that. Favorite play from Boston?
None. Al Horford.
Okay, favorite play from Orlando?
Probably Cole Anthony. Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter Jr.
Wendell Carter. Okay. Favorite play from Atlanta?
That is going to be Kevin Huerter, who we haven't talked about at all.
Oh, God. Yeah, it did talk to me. I love that man. He won me $25K this year.
He's had plenty of opportunities to play recently. Maybe that changes a little bit with them getting, a little bit healthier with because Gallo's in. But
correct.
Anywho, he's played at least 37 minutes in 2 of the last 3 games. He's 4,200. That's, I think, reason enough to consider him.
All right. Favorite play to round it out from these early games. Your 2 favorite plays from Dallas.
Luka for sure. And then we will go with Reggie Bullock.
All right, y'all. That is the show here. I'm kind of getting my lineups in and getting it all situated here. Get them in for yourself as well. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Shit. Super chat. Oh, there we go. Carter Trantham. Hartenstein or Nwora. Need one for a fill-in. Hartenstein not close for me.
That's the best we can do.
Yeah, I don't want to do either, but I mean, I just don't think it's close. Like Nwora is not like remotely in play for me today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Hartenstein.
You seem very
I'm assuming this is a
lineup
that Kiefer Sykes is already in.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Sykes is like a plan by default guy on this slate now. Again, I'm playing some KPJ and Josh Hart lineups. That's the difficult part about this slate is like trying to figure out what to do because you literally lose 3/5 of your slate right from the get-go here. So you have to be very specific about how you put together building those lineups. So I'm finishing this up here. Also, don't drink Topo Chico before going on air. I've just been burpy the whole time. It's just absurd, but I love my Topo Chicos. Topo Chico, you don't know what that is?
Never heard of it.
Are you kidding me? It is mineral water. It is so fire. Maybe it's just an LA thing, but like the number one pairing with tacos, period. And Sunday is taco day. Yeah. Oh, Jordan Klein's in agreement though. Topo fire. It's
mineral water. I mean, come on now.
All right, guys.
I didn't realize you were rich, bro.
Well, it's just how it works, baby. Giannis or Luka, we've had that conversation a little bit. I think FanDuel, a little bit more Giannis. I think DK, pretty hard for me not to like both, but specifically Luka, I think over there. Topo is so bomb. Yes, it absolutely is. Norm Powell or Cole Anthony, same price on FanDuel. I don't like either, but Cole Anthony by probably a wide margin for me.
Yeah, Cole Anthony.
Okay, cold beer does that to me. Yeah, I wish I had a cold beer. I'm trying to be a professional here at Awesemo.com. Adam Palmer, $2. Pivot from Luka and Giannis for balanced lineup. Ooh, baby. I don't know about pivots, but we both love Sabonis. He's my second highest owned player right now. I'm obsessed with getting to a guy who is just kind of going forgotten on this slate whatsoever and fits well into the price point that I need at 9,800. So that would be kind of the pivot off of both of them.
Yeah. My only thing is that you don't really need to pivot off Giannis. He's projected for like 15% ownership.
Right. I have 33% of him and I'm ecstatic. I have 37% Luka. I'm basically holding hands with the field. And Sabonis, I have 63%. I'm just playing a ton of him in my allotment of lineups. Feel pretty good about him. Any final words for the people here, Matt LaMarca? We're at lock. We did it. This is fantastic. No Taylor, no money. My God. I'm telling you right now, he has a better chance of not playing than he has of breaking this slate. But give me those final words here, Matt LaMarca.
Well, I'd like to congratulate Terry Taylor on Eric Lindquist turning him into the slate breaker tonight.
Yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. That little 6'4" center midget is going to just smash. Look at this guy. He's so tiny. He's 6'4". He's just a little guy. He's just out there playing little wee basketball up against other centers. Goga Batadze is the guy you want to get to. Let's be serious. Guys, smash that like button. This was so much fun. Thank you so much to Yahoo. Make sure you're signing up over at the Super Bowl there. Make sure you guys are checking out all the content we have coming up. The NBA slate starter, looking forward to that to hear tonight. Thank you to Jordan Klein behind the virtual glass, doing fantastic work. Oh my God, Terry Taylor smashes. I don't even know what to say anymore. Best of luck to you guys who played him. Thank you so much to Loco, keeping us updated with all the news there in the chat. Thank you so much to all of you guys. He's Matt LaMarca. He's great at quoting Good Will Hunting. I'm Eric. I almost forgot the name of the movie as we were finishing it out. We'll see you guys later.
You like apples?